All right, welcome back everybody to Altcoin Daily, where you subscribe for a video on cryptocurrency every day. My name's Austin, and you're going to like today's video. Today's actually a great day for news, crypto news, because Consensus Invest, which is one of the major cryptocurrency/blockchain conferences, had their first day yesterday in New York, and point is, some major players were in attendance. So announcements were made. And this first one comes from the ICE founder. And he says, regarding, the volatility, the recent volatility of Bitcoin's price, he says, we're kind of agnostic. Interesting. And of course, this is Jeffrey Sprecher, the founder, chairman, and CEO of the Intercontinental Exchange. And if you don't know, they're a financial juggernaut worldwide, the owner of 12 different marketplaces and exchanges, including the New York Stock Exchange. And the reason that we should care is because they're the ones behind BAKKT, that's supposedly launching in January. And anyway, Jeffrey was on the same panel as Kelly Loeffler, the CEO of BAKKT, and this all came from a direct question. Somebody asked them a direct question and said, hey, what do you think about the recent drop in Bitcoin's price? I'm guessing people are asking that is because BAKKT just got delayed a month. Not necessarily for Bitcoin's price volatility, but everybody's wondering if there's still game to come in to crypto. And the answer to that question is, according to Loeffler, a focus on price isn't really a factor for BAKKT. Interesting. I guess that's a green flag. But if it's not a factor, let me ask you this. Why was BAKKT delayed until January? Well, she answered that too. And she said the delay was pursued in part because the pipeline filled up with customers following the August unveiling. Interesting. I guess a lot of companies, a lot of institutions were looking to come on board and get in with crypto. And she said, besides that so many customers wanted in, she says she further positioned the move as a way to boost the chances of success by pushing the product launch past the holiday season. Interesting. So she thought the holiday season would conflict with the launch of BAKKT. Well, take what you want from this. To me, this is a green flag saying that there's still game to play. They're still in. I like that. We have two more announcements coming out of Consensus Invest, guys. So including the SEC chair answers a direct question on if an ETF will be approved. The answer was not what I thought it would be. But let's keep going. Stay tuned for that. But some other big piece of news. Why Bitcoin Cash SV is the only top coin rising as crypto crash rolls on. Okay, I pulled this article because, as you may or may not notice, and we'll refresh the page, keep it current. If you look at the top 10 has changed. Bitcoin SV is now a part of it. And of course, this was a hard fork of Bitcoin Cash. Now we have two Bitcoin Cashes in a sense, the original and Satoshi's Vision. And the reason I pulled this is because there's actually a lot of articles that came out saying, oh my God, Bitcoin SV up 40, the rest of the market down, Bitcoin SV is the only one that's seeing any gains. And I just want to, I just keep it as transparent as we can. It's because they were just added. And if you look at, expo facto, now they're the reverse. Everybody else is in the red, and Bitcoin SV had such a major pump that it's correcting. I think the things to look at with Bitcoin SV, first off, what's the difference? Because originally Craig Wright and his team were pushing Bitcoin SV as the one true and only Bitcoin Cash. Well, now they've given up on that, and they say, no, we're not a new Bitcoin Cash. Now we're the true Bitcoin. But what's the point? The point is, what's the difference? Guys, let's know our top 10. And just a simple reminder, Bitcoin Cash is the exact same that it's ever been. The hard fork for them improved scaling a little bit, but also big ups on Bitcoin Cash, smart contract abilities. So we're going to begin to start seeing that with Bitcoin Cash. Much like Ethereum, much like a lot of these other cryptos with smart contract abilities. And what's different about Bitcoin SV? Basically, Bitcoin SV is the exact same thing as Bitcoin Cash, or the exact same thing as Bitcoin, only faster, more optimized, and the hard fork for Bitcoin SV, it took their block size from 32 megabytes to the max of 128 megabytes. Just cluing you in, guys. We have 3 more announcements to get to, but actually let me know in the comments, and this is for real. Is anybody really invest in Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Cash SV as the true Bitcoin, or are you just in it to make a quick buck, if that? Really let me know, because I want to give them fair opportunities. Just because I'm not into them doesn't mean I can't be educated. All right, team, 3 more news stories to go. Are you with me? Interesting news out of Sweden. Apparently, cash is rapidly disappearing, and some people are taking this as a sign that crypto could become a main factor. Let me explain. Half of Sweden's retailers predict that the country will stop accepting cash by the end of 2025. So like 7 years. And this is reported directly from the New York Times. And just because they say stop accepting cash, it's not because they're turning to cryptocurrency. This could be debit or credit. They're just not using paper money. And this is coming out of Riksbank, and I don't know how to pronounce the name, but the central bank of the country. They're already testing a digital currency called the e-krona. And anyway, the point is they're looking for many digital alternatives. Actually, a few thousand people actually went as far as to say they should get microchips implanted in their hands to pay for food and transportation with a gesture. But either way, doesn't really mean, right now I think they're talking more about digital, credit cards, debit cards, stuff like that. But it could be a big swing because people are drawing comparisons to Japan and South Korea. The declining usage of cash in Japan and South Korea have naturally translated to an increase in demand for crypto, like Bitcoin and Ethereum. And you might already know this, but the 2 countries, Japan and South Korea, became the 2nd and 3rd largest crypto markets in the world behind the US. And Sweden could do the same thing, but right now Sweden remains a relatively small market for crypto, possibly because centralized payment networks are more efficient and practical for daily use. So what I'm saying is right now with Sweden, the bank, it's working. The cash system they have now, it's working with centralized banks, and that's why I think we'll see more adoption come in the lesser, the less rich countries first. But let me know what you think. I know we have some Swedes in the audience. Let's keep going. Team, we have 2 more announcements or news stories out of the consensus conference. But, again, we do this stuff every day. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. You do not want to miss a video. Having said that, the SEC chairman Clayton had some things to say about will there be an ETF. Jay Clayton, the chairman of the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, said Tuesday, and this wasn't shocking, but not what I expected. He said that he doesn't see a pathway to a cryptocurrency ETF approval until concerns over market manipulation are addressed. He says how that manipulation issue gets addressed, he doesn't really have a particular path, but it needs to be addressed before we get an ETF, before an ETF gets approval. And the VanEck one is pending for January. So what I'm getting out of this is we might not see it. And he elaborates. The prices retail investors are seeing. So he's saying why do we need to end this manipulation? For the retail investors, people like you and me, also merchants, those people. The prices retail investors are seeing are the prices that they should rely on and free from manipulation. And he clarifies, not free from volatility, but free from manipulation. And I actually totally understand what he's saying. He's saying that he understands a new emerging market like cryptocurrency, like Bitcoin. He understands it's going to be volatile. He understands there's going to be large swings, and that's okay because it's a new market. He says what's not okay in terms of an ETF approval is manipulation. blatant manipulation. And if he's looking at, what we've seen in the last few weeks, I mean, to me, it looks like blatant manipulation. How do we know if it's manipulation? It could just be volatility. I don't really see a way to prove that. But it's just interesting. Something to keep on your radar. Let's keep going. We have one more big piece of news, and you're going to like this. Nasdaq VanEck partner to launch Crypto 2.0 futures contracts. So there's a big question in the mainstream media right now saying, is cryptocurrency still, an asset worth investing in? Nasdaq continues to say yes. The second largest stock exchange in the world is partnering with investment management firm VanEck. I like those guys. To bring a host of new cryptocurrency financial products to the market. And they say, so Nasdaq is in. And this is something that there's been talks of this earlier in the year, but they say what they're planning to release early next year is to be the first with several such products. Direct quote. What I'd like to point out is that we ran a few extra miles working with the CFTC, Commodity Futures Trading Commission, to bring a new standard for custody and surveillance. So he's saying that they've always made it a point to work with regulatory bureaus like the CFTC. And what they're offering, and this is to come early next year, he says, is an upgrade, a 2.0 to current regulatory standards that surround Bitcoin futures products. So point is, it's coming. It's coming from Nasdaq futures, and I don't think these will be, settled with actual Bitcoin like the VanEck one is doing. But this is very interesting that SEC chairman says that can't have manipulation, but Nasdaq is still bullish. So I think the general sentiment I'm seeing is it's not a question of if, it's a question of when, and they just need to make sure it's the right time. Let me know what you guys think, guys. Yesterday was the first day of the conference. We're going to have I assume, a lot of other good announcements coming up all this week, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. Last thing I want to do is just check where we are in the cryptocurrency market, and all right, I like that. We're a little bit up, 6%. It seems that we're already leveling off. The market cap right now is $131 billion. We're actually up about $10 billion from where we were yesterday, I'd say. And Bitcoin went from 3,700 to 4,000. All right, team. That's all I got. This has been Altcoin Daily. Make sure you give us a follow on Twitter. There's a link in the description below. I will be live tweeting throughout my whole life. Guys, appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow.